Okay, everybody. Had a lot of discussion with the students about how to figure out your offer, so I thought I'd record this module just to help you figure it out a little bit more. There's several schools of thought. You've got the percent of LTV or an ARV or percent of ARV or LTV approach. A lot of time that's on a hard money mindset. You've got the profit approach, which you're basically going to target a rehabber when you're wholesaling the house, and you've got an ROI approach, which is really targeting landlords. There's a couple tools you'll need. You'll need the SOS. You'll need the blank offer worksheet. You'll need to know how to calculate the ERC, and you'll need the field analysis worksheet. So we'll talk about the SOS. Feel free to download it from this module and follow along. So here's the SOS worksheet. Now, there's two different ways to run the numbers. We'll go over the standard SOS that I want you guys to use, and then we'll go over the one that if you're trying to submit it to George. So you start out, the date is auto-populated. You add the address. You add the address, subdivision, tax value, and square footage of the property. These fields here where it says ERC, these will auto-populate for you. You need to put the estimated sales price, which is the average sales price of the subdivision, basically the average dollar per square foot times your square footage, and then the ERC number that you're going to use. Now, here you have closing costs. The closing costs are about $2,500 when someone's paying, when you assign the property and you have them pay all the closing costs. That's title policy, escrow fees, etc., and a little bit of bank fees. Now, if they're using hard money, of course, this closing cost will go up, and that's just based on the financing that your investor is receiving. So then here you have holding costs. And these holding costs, the way we calculate that is 2% of the estimated sales price, the ESP. So basically what you have here is $1,800, and that is for 4 months. 6% commission, even though a lot of investors don't pay a 6% commission, they do budget in a 6% commission. So then that's 6% of the ESP. Annual tax rate, the way this is calculated, it's for 4 months of real estate taxes. So what you have is it's 3% of the 74,420 up in the tax value. So 3% of that is about $2,100, and then it's divided by 12 and then times 4, so you get $744. That's what it will cost in property taxes for the investor to own it while it is vacant. And then about 2% in sales closing costs. This number can be adjusted if there's a high level of seller paid closing cost in the neighborhood. And then you've got anticipated profits. Typically on a house that's about $100,000 and below, investors want to make anywhere between $10,000 and $15,000. Houses that range between 100 and 150, that number goes up to, it's always 15, sometimes 20 as you get closer to 150, and between 150 and 200, most investors are looking to make $25,000 to $30,000. The way these are calculated, real quick, the way these are calculated is, we'll scroll down. What you have is the first field calculated is the max purchase price. The way this is calculated is $90,000 minus the ERC, minus the closing cost, minus the carry cost, minus the commissions, minus the 4 months of real estate taxes, minus the selling cost, minus the profit. That equals $37,755.80 that you should be able to sell the property for. And we'll go ahead and we'll go in here and change this from purchase price to sales price, because this is what you're going to be able to wholesale it to an investor for. So then you back out how much you want to assign it for, and that gives you your maximum offer of $32,755. And that is how the SOS works. And then these two fields down here are auto-calculated. It's simply the profit divided by the total investment. So in this case, the total investment is the sum of these fields, which is $37,000, plus this field. And that's how this is calculated. And then the profit is divided by the total investment to give you an ROI, a percent return over 4 months. And that's really how simple the SOS is. Now, there's also, I want you to use these numbers when you're looking at calculating your offers. You have the SOS for all cash. If you're selling to someone like George that is going to close into open title and pay cash, then you fill out everything the same, but down here you note the escrow is different because George closes into open title because he does all the title research. The commissions are less because George is an agent himself. So in essence, you can wholesale the property for more, which means you can pay more. And that is the summary of the SOS. So now what we'll do is we'll open up the blank offer worksheet. The blank offer is a sheet that I use to run my business. So you have here up at the top a section where the prices are broken down. So if you have a house that's 50 to 100K, your basic offer would be 60%. Your max offer that you really want to go up to is about 65%, because the most you're going to be able to wholesale this house for is 70%. So the way that looks is depicted here. So you have basic offer on this house 29, max offer 33.5. Most you can wholesale it for is 70%. So what you're looking at is a way to calculate based off the ARV, and you plug these numbers here into these cells. You update that cell, this cell, and these cells. You go ahead and the fields in yellow are the ones that you want to input your data, and then the numbers below will be calculated for you. Now, let's talk a little bit about the ERC. The ERC is estimated repair cost. On houses built in 1975 or later, you want to start at $10 a foot. For 55 through 75, you want to start at $12 a foot. And pre-1955, go ahead and start at $14 a foot. There's some basic increases you need to know about. If the house needs foundation work, and you're not just estimating, and you're pretty sure about the whole house needs foundation work, go ahead and just add $3 a foot to your ERC. If the full roof needs to be replaced, now the foundation, the $3 per foot, is going to go off the total building square footage. Full roof replacement, $3 a foot. If you need to redeck, like if there's wood shake shingles or the decking seems to be rotten, you're going to need to add an additional $2 a foot, so the total would be $5 a foot. If it's a steep roof, you want to go ahead and add another $2 a foot. So, for example, if you have a one-story house that is a steep roof, you will actually be budgeting $7, and it needs to be redecked. You'll actually be budgeting $7 a foot, which is the $3 plus the $2 plus an additional $2. So now, if it's a two-story house, because a lot of the square footage is redundant, what you're going to want to do is only add is stay at the original $3 a foot. Now, if it needs to be redecked, you add the 2, and so you'd be at $5 a foot, because you don't do the steep roof on the two-story because the square footage repeats itself. If you think there's some plumbing repairs that need to be done, go ahead and add $4 a foot into your ERC. And you can adjust downward on these if the house has been updated before. If it's not in the original condition, you can adjust down. So that's how the ERC. Now, several of you have mentioned that you would like to do longhand repairs. So here are some basic numbers. For paint, it's $2 a foot. Flooring, $2 a foot. That will cover tile and carpet. Appliances are about $1,000 on the average house. Roof, $3, $5 with a redeck. Hardware is $1 a foot. Plumbing fixtures, about 75 cents a foot. These are all with installation included. Electric fixtures are about 75 cents a foot. A minor electrical, say you need to upgrade a panel and do some minor work, is about $1 a foot. If it's a major electrical job, you want to go ahead and go at $3 a foot, like if you're going to rewire the entire house. For a minor would be aluminum wiring or a panel replacement, but if you have both a panel replacement and aluminum wiring, you want to go ahead and budget $3 a foot. Kitchen countertops, about 75 cents a foot, and that's for the kitchen square footage. Oh no, I'm sorry, that's the square footage of the house, and then $3 a foot will cover your granite in the kitchens and bathrooms. If you need new cabinets in the kitchen, it's about $1.50 a foot. Double vanity with tops is $500. Foundation, $3 a foot. Under slab leak, $4 a foot. Sheetrock tape and texture is about 50 cents a foot. Central heat and air, if you need to replace just the condensers, it's about $1.50 a foot. The full system is about $3 a foot. To redo a bathroom is about $10 a foot of the bathroom square footage. Replace all windows in the house is about $2 a foot, and you always want to include, if you're doing it longhand, a $1 a foot miscellaneous budget. ARV consideration, the after repaired value, start at the average dollar per square foot of sold comps times the living square footage of the subject property. Some considerations. On the corner of a busy street, take off about 7%. If it's actually on the busy street, 10%. High tension power lines adjacent to the property, minus 10%. Backs to commercial with no brick wall separating, minus 10%. If there is a brick wall separating, minus 5%. But if it's a huge looming project, you want to go ahead and take the 10% off. If there's a high day on the market in the subdivision, you want to go ahead and knock 5% off, because that's what we're going to do. Vacant, suspicious, or abandoned houses within view of the driveway of the home, front or back, is minus 5%. Dangerous dogs running around the neighborhood would be minus 5%. And that's really how to calculate an offer and how to determine what you're going to offer. That's the end of this module.